I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is my Living Consciously video. I had originally thought that I would continue with what I had begun, which was to talk about the cleansing the auric field. I felt that that was next on my lineup of things, but today I'm going to digress a little bit. I just spent a couple of hours watching the opening ceremony for the Olympics, and I just wanted to share with you the tremendous joy that I felt. It was hard for me to believe I was so joyous because most of the time I spent crying. I just had tears running down my face. It and this seems to happen every single time I watch an opening ceremony. I think it's because I tap into and I feel all the joy of the athletes, the joy for being there, but also the hope that they carry within them for making their country proud because of the fact that they have a chance. They are the best of the best, and they have a chance of winning an Olympic medal. And one of the things, of course, the moderators did today was to reiterate how many medals each country had won, where the other people just simply what was listed on the sideline was just how many people are in the place and then how many people are represented. And what was so nice to see was I think there's something like 232 countries in the world. Over 200 countries had sent athletes, including Syria, which is absolutely being devastated by war going on for the past 7 years. So, I mean, to me, it was so incredible to see the number of countries, even the tiniest. I know Monaco is one of the smallest. They too had three athletes represented. And the announcers had mentioned that Monaco is the size, about 3 times the size of our National Mall. Our National Mall is big, but it's not that big. So that kind of gave me the scale of how big that country was. But what was so beautiful to see was how every single country comes out with a new outfit every single year, and an outfit that seems to somehow, in many cases, represented a part of their culture, represented the colors from their culture, and represented their style of dress. And and there were some stunning outfits. This is all going to be repeated tonight, so I absolutely urge you to watch it. What I have a tendency to do is we have a DVR and we tape it, and I always am about an hour behind, and then so by the time I catch up, I don't. I can fast forward through the commercials because most of the time I really do not have the time to sit and listen through all the commercials, except that some of them looked kind of interesting this time, just like the Super Bowl. That's the only time where I watch the commercials is on the Super Bowl. But the even though every athlete had a mask on, you could still see that glorious look in their eyes. You could still see the the fire that they had inside of them because of the light that was coming out of their eyes, their bright, shiny faces. I know one of the gymnasts there was I think it's from Romania. I'm not 100% positive, but I think they said she's 47, and she is one of, at this point, she will be the oldest gymnast that has ever come to the Olympics. And again, I that to me was just such a thrill to see that uh, that you don't have to be 16 in order to qualify for to be a gymnast at the Olympics, and the uh, like I said, the sense of hope and joy that I felt that radiated from these athletes was just incredible. And the there are apparently 45 sports that are represented. And some of the sports, they've really loosened the requirements for sports, and something like table tennis, badminton, that's an Olympic sport. So it just seemed to me, as I was listening to this, that there are so many um, things that are opening up that are being considered as an Olympic sport that never had been before. And so all the children that are out there that are influenced, because they showed a clip of a little guy who was at one time 12 years of age, and he saw Michael Phelps win. And then they showed a clip of him actually beating Michael Phelps in, I think it was the fifth Olympic that Michael um, uh, joined in. So I mean, I should have been more careful taking down notes, but anyway, I'm trying to give you just the highlights. And the one thing that I thought that was really unique, uh, the opening ceremonies always try to outdo each other, but the one thing that was unique to Japan is that they were the ones who created the emojis for sports. And then they had two characters, well, actually three characters dressed up as emojis, and then re- um, did that sport so that the camera highlighted exactly the way the sport was represented by the emoji. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And all I kept thinking of is, my gosh, if you're a design, if you're into graphics design, what a great idea. How many more things can you do for to represent conditions, maybe handicap conditions? Those probably could use their own emojis. The other thing that I was so taken back by, how many of the Arab countries were represented that did not have their women athletes with a scarf over their head, that their hair was exposed. So, to the best of my knowledge, I do not recall seeing a single one with her hair covered by a scarf. And it was just, again, I just, somehow in my heart, I feel that the world stops. They kind of stop what they're doing, and for 2 weeks, out of every 2 years, we have 2 weeks of peace, at least peace in our heart. And the one thing that I wanted just to share with you is that for us to have peace on this planet, it has to start within us. Everything has to start within. Is peace possible on this planet? I absolutely do believe it is. I do not subscribe to this idea that just because we have 40 wars on the planet at any given time, that peace is impossible. And just because some of the conflicts go back thousands of years, that peace is impossible. I don't believe that. So, The other highlight that I wanted um, to bring forward was the song Imagine by John Lennon. The two singers I recognized were John Legend and Keith Urban. And but there was a, a female with a wonderful black voice. She was a black female with a wonderful, deep, very very resounding voice, and two other men. But the last thing I wanted to share was the when they showed the flame coming, the Olympic flame, the last journey of the Olympic flame. It was the it was held first by a para-Olympic um, person. He was in a wheelchair. I think it was a he that was in a wheelchair. And then he handed it over to a baseball legend. And then a doctor and a nurse held it because they wanted to represent the caregivers that had given so much to us as to keep us alive in these last couple years. And then the last one was uh, I guess the last, second to the last was the para Olympic uh, athlete. And then the last athlete was Naomi Osaka, who is a tennis legend. And everything about the whole message of the opening ceremony was about resilience and recovery because too, Japan had experienced I guess, an earthquake and a tsunami that had killed 18,000 people, and within the last couple of years. So they too wanted to acknowledge that. So do. Uh, I know this is going to be very, very short today, but I do encourage you, whether you had intention of watching the opening ceremonies or not, to please do watch them, even if you need to tape them and fast forward through the commercials to help save time for yourself. Um, I was just so taken back by, again, the number of athletes, the hope, the joy, the wonderful spirit that came through their faces, even though everyone was covered by a mask. And it's just such a pleasure to be able to be an armchair witness to so much effort that is put out there. And I know that every night there will be highlights, but if you catch some of the um, events during the day, you'll catch some of those that are not that well publicized and are usually not televised in for some of the evening performances. I know there was some dressage uh, sports. I absolutely feel one of the animals that I stand in complete awe of is a horse, and I wanted to. Uh, I hope to catch that because every time it's come on, I never have. And this year, I've made up my mind that I am going to catch the horse events. So I bid you adieu. I give you just my love for the peace on earth, peace for our planet, peace in our day, peace in our heart, peace for ourselves, peace for each other. So And I will see you next week where I will continue with just my regular series. Thank you and have a great day.